This is the arena where an underdog's miracle became a legend and a group of rookies tore the ring to shreds. I'm Alex, and in today's video, episode 2, I'm counting down my personal top 10 wrestling moments in Miami's Kaseya Center. Before I cover the list, I've got some history first. This building wasn't Miami's first arena. They already had one. The Miami Arena, which opened in 1988. By the late 90s, the Miami Heat NBA franchise wanted out. They threatened to leave for Broward County unless they got land for a new building. They got their wish, and on New Year's Eve in 1999, the new venue opened as the American Airlines Arena, right on the water of Biscayne Bay. For 22 years, locals called it the AAA, famous for the giant aircraft painted on the roof. Then came the 2021 renaming to FTX Arena, a deal that collapsed less than 2 years later in a massive financial fraud case. After a brief stint as the Miami-Dade Arena, Kaseya, a Miami-based IT management software company, took over the naming rights. Now, onto the list. Starting us off at number 10, the birth of the Triple H era, the first Monday Night Raw of the year 2000. Just 3 days after the arena opened, the first Monday Night Raw of the new millennium was held here. In the main event, Triple H defeated The Big Show to win his third WWF Championship. In typical heel fashion, a kick to The Big Show's Little Shows, while referee Mike Chioda was distracted, set Hunter up to hit the pedigree for the win. There was no shortage of fanfare for the celebration as green and black balloons fell from the ceiling and pyro went off on the stage in Titantron area. It was a celebration to make you feel disgusted if you hated the Big Man Helmsley era, and I'm sure it did the trick. Number 9, the Yappapi Strap Match, WCW Uncensored 2000. At WCW Uncensored 2000, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair brought one of wrestling's biggest rivalries to Miami in the infamous Yappapi Strap Match. I don't know where to even begin with this thing. I mostly remember this monstrosity because of Hogan's bizarre, nonsensical, over-the-top promos leading into it. Here we had two of wrestling's most recognizable stars closing the show in a chaotic strap match, where the goal was to touch all four corners, even though the finish ended with Hogan pinning Flair after the match had already drifted into peak late-stage WCW mayhem. No pun intended on the video game. I picked this moment because it featured Hogan and Flair in a main event spot at the only WCW show held in this building, making it a strange but unforgettable piece of Miami wrestling history. Who booked this shit? Number 8. John Cena fires himself. Survivor Series 2010. At Hell in a Cell, John Cena lost a match to Wade Barrett, and the terms were brutal. Cena had to join the Nexus. The end game was the WWE Championship. At Survivor Series, Barrett got his shot against Randy Orton, and Cena was the special guest referee. But this was a step match. If Barrett won the title, Cena was freed from Nexus. If Orton won, Cena was fired on the spot. In kayfabe, of course. Staying true to himself, Cena counted every pin attempt clean. Then Barrett shoved him. In an instant, Cena shoved Barrett straight into an RKO. Orton covered while Cena counted to 3. What followed was one of the quietest, most emotional closing segments for a pay-per-view. Cena saw himself out as the shocked Miami crowd looked on. Number 7. A phenomenal Raw debut. Monday Night Raw the night after the 2016 Royal Rumble. Just 24 hours after his WWE debut in the Rumble, AJ Styles wrestled his first ever match on Monday Night Raw, and it happened right here in Miami. He faced Chris Jericho and proved instantly that the international star label was no fluke. This was memorable for me because Styles picked up the win over Y2J on night 2 of a memorable 10-year WWE run. Number 6. Shawn Michaels vs. Randy Orton, Survivor Series 2007. I've got another stipulation match here on my list. In my number 6 moment, Shawn Michaels was banned from using Sweet Chin music in his match against the Viper. Forced to wrestle a technical match, HBK used every hold in the book, including a sharpshooter, because of course he did. Randy Orton eventually caught him with an RKO to retain his WWE Championship, but the match proved Michaels could still out-wrestle anyone with one hand figuratively tied behind his back. We're into the top 5 now, and at number 5, the Heartbreak Betrayal, Hell in a Cell 2013. In October of 2013 at Hell in a Cell, Daniel Bryan challenged Randy Orton for the vacant WWE Championship, with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. This situation put Bryan in a tough spot for 2 reasons. First, Bryan trained with HBK at his school in Texas and considered Michaels to be his mentor. Second, Bryan spent the summer battling Triple H and the Authority, and Triple H's ties to both Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton were well documented. The turning point came when Bryan, famously labeled as a B+ player by the Authority, shoved the Viper into Michaels, then hit Orton with the running knee. As there was no one to count the pinfall after the ref bump, he then dropped Triple H with another running knee after the game had entered the cell to check on HBK. That was the breaking point. Michaels hit Bryan with sweet chin music, Orton crawled into the cover, and HBK counted the 3, rewarding Orton with the WWE Championship. The Yes movement continued, but the outcome on this night in Miami held Bryan down yet again. Number 4. Edge's Survivor Series return, Survivor Series 2007. In a brutal Hell in a Cell match, Batista defeated The Undertaker to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. These guys went to war with each other. Steel chairs, ring steps, weapons littered the ring. Great match if you're a fan of color. Both guys bled here quite a bit. The big moment for me came near the end of the match as Edge, returning here from an injury a few months prior, was disguised as a cameraman. He hit the dead man with the camera, then used the concerto and dragged Batista onto Taker to cover for the finish. I always liked the matches involving some combination of Batista, Taker, and Edge, and thought regardless of who worked who, all the guys had great chemistry and physicality and told great stories with one another. Number 3. The arrival of the Nexus, Monday Night Raw from June of 2010. This was a where were you moment in wrestling history. During the main event, 8 rookies from NXT Season 1 invaded, dismantling the ring, the announcers, CM Punk, and John Cena. The group would become known as the Nexus. Do you remember these guys? Obviously, some of the names are bigger than others. Wade Barrett, Daniel Bryan, David Otunga, Justin Gabriel, there was Heath Slater, Michael Tarver, Darren Young, and Skip Sheffield. I remember how chaotic the segment felt watching it happen in real time. I mean, Daniel Bryan choked Justin Roberts with his own tie, and he spit in John Cena's face in the middle of the ring. These things actually got Bryan released for a short time due to the intensity. Say what you will about the storyline, but I thought the original Nexus faction was pretty damn cool. Number 2. The Return of the Beast, the night after WrestleMania 28. John Cena came to the ring on Raw the night after WrestleMania 28, still carrying the weight of losing to The Rock the night before. On this episode of Raw, he invited The Rock out to the ring so they could settle things face to face. But he got someone else instead. Brock Lesnar. It was Lesnar's first WWE appearance in roughly 8 years, after his first run ended in 2004. He stepped into the ring, stared Cena down, he offered his hand, then he turned the handshake into a brutal F5 to close the show. I remember vividly how the pop echoed in the building, and while I wasn't a Lesnar fan, it was exciting to think about the marquee matchups we'd be getting in the future now that the Beast was back in the WWE. And my number 1 moment, Rey Mysterio wins the 2006 Royal Rumble. This was the ultimate underdog story. Just a few months after the death of his close friend Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio entered the Rumble at number 2. He drove to the ring in a lowrider, wearing a shirt with Eddie's name and face on it. He eliminated Randy Orton to win after lasting over an hour in the Rumble, which at the time was a record, and he went on to win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 22 in Chicago. This was an uncontested choice for my number 1 pick on the list for the combination of wrestling, storytelling, and human emotion. So, there's the top 10 of my favorite moments in wrestling history for the Kaseya Center. I still call it the American Airlines Arena, honestly. It's hard to keep up with all the corporate name changes. I'd love to hear your top 10. Drop them down in the comments. On the next episode, we're heading to Texas to cover Reunion Arena in Dallas. Thanks for the house.